I would like to talk about how to gain happiness. How to gain happiness. How can we be happy? What do you think is the purpose of life? Purpose of life. I think we live for happiness. When we reflect history, so many things are developed to this day, up to present, and all of them are developed to gain happiness. And TV, radio, airplane, air conditioner, these are all made to be a method for human to become happy. And so, how does happiness arise? Sorry. Environment that surrounds you prove that human live for happiness. And how does happiness arise? This is something regarded as self-evident truth, but people feel joy when their desires are fulfilled. Here we have one problem. This is from www.unification.net/dp96, and Sung Myung Moon says that the word desire, however, is often not understood in its original sense. Because in the present circumstances, our desires tend to pursue evil rather than good. So, desires which result in injustice do not emanate from the person's original mind. And the original mind is well aware that such desires lead to misfortune. Therefore, it repels evil desires and strives to follow the good. So, for example, when you do your homework, you know that it is important to do it. But you may want to play outside, though you know you'll be punished by a teacher. So this is what I'm saying, and when you consider this as a larger scale, it can be said that the life would be the fight of evil mind and good, original mind. Now then, how do we judge good and evil? And most people have their own gauge of good and evil, and they're all different. And some people have obviously wrong gauge, and some people have obviously wrong gauge, and people think it is a natural thing, and they're to avoid conflict between these gauges, they're trying to understand their gauges, and I think it's an important thing to do so. However, I think there must be a common gauge. Common gauge, and people are trying to understand their gauges, but in fact, wars are occurring right now. So how do we make a common gauge? Actually, we don't know. So human beings are in state of ignorance. Famous Greek philosopher Socrates already talked about this 1,000 years ago. And when we study history, we acquire knowledge, and it became the basis of our development. And 1,000 years ago, humanity didn't know the existence of electricity, but they, as studying and acquiring more and more knowledge, they could invent radio, television, air conditioner, airplane. So, accordingly, history can be considered that it was a way of gaining intelligence. And there are two types of gaining: science and religion. And so, therefore, to be fully emerged from ignorance, I think the way of science and religion should be integrated and their problems resolved in one united undertaking. And there should be a criterion for judgment of good and evil. And I believe that the illumination of this undertaking will lead to the happiness. And I also believe that this way of thinking could be applied to solve the problems of the world. Do you know a problem in Palestine? There's conflict between Israeli and Palestine, and it's very complicated problem. And yeah, if I simplify this problem, I would say it's about the scramble for Palestine. And from the viewpoint of Israeli, Palestine, it's theirs, but from the viewpoint of Palestinian, it's theirs. Um, yeah, and there are several factors. Because of the flow of history, Palestine is now Israelis, but Palestinian is not satisfied about it. Even now, they are trying to retrieve Palestine, and there are several factors in the background of this problem, and the religion is one of the factors of this problem. And so Israeli believe Judaism, but Palestinian believe Islam. I think the reason why UK and UN couldn't stop the conflict was that they didn't think about religion and when they think about solution. So I believe that studying religion and science is very important to think about world. So for all, I think what I want to say is study make you happy. Thank you.
Nice.